when you don't get the victories, you actually naturally look harder at yourselves, and that's what we've done. We've looked really hard at ourselves in our own areas. We've had to, like, let's not sugarcoat it. We've just lost a couple of tests in a row, so.
Jason, just a week on from the series with South Africa, can you just talk us through sort of what's happened since then in terms of the team? What you guys have been working on?
Yeah, we obviously looked pretty hard at ourselves. Looked at areas where we can improve and areas where we actually have made some good gains. It was a big 2-test series, big 2 weeks in South Africa against the best team in the world, and we've got some experiences that we've learnt from around different pressure cycles and areas of our game. So and the boys have obviously recovered at homes for the week, and then we've got our first training sort of clarity session today on the grass, where we'll start layering in our plans against Australia.
Are you feeling like the last couple of tests were like, okay, we just went to probably the hardest destination in Test rugby right now and pushed the world champions right to the limit, or is it more of a opportunity lost kind of feeling?
Yeah, it's good question. I think it's a bit of both, to be honest with you. I think that we sort of feel like we've missed the opportunities, and we just need to finish better. In all honesty, and that's different areas of our game. It's not one thing in particular, but it's different parts of our own areas that we need to be honest about. But like, full credit to the South Africans. They're the world champions, and they're right on top of their game, and it's where we want to get to. But we are still praising the boys for the effort and that intensity and that environment over there is pretty special.
And just last one from me, and just your own area of expertise in the forwards. Has the forward pack taken the necessary steps it's needed to over the last couple of tests, do you think?
Yeah, I think we have in patches. I think there's some areas that we're tidied up a little bit around the big rocks of our game and the set piece, but I think overall we've had some guys that are really stepping up in their areas and competing really well for spots, which I think's quite satisfying.
Thank you.
Hey Jess, Ollie here. I just wanted to sort of touch on what you were talking with Jamie about there. Coming back, while disappointed you didn't quite get the results you wanted, how important is it to I suppose keep the boys' heads up and instill the belief and I suppose be really optimistic about some of the progress and the signs that you did show in South Africa?
Yeah, I think optimistic is a great word, to be honest, Ollie. I think that we really are. We are excited by how hard we pushed South Africa, but we're not satisfied by not getting across the line. But I don't know, in a weird way, you sort of, when you don't get the victories, you actually naturally look harder at yourselves, and that's what we've done. We've looked really hard at ourselves in our own areas. We've had to, like, let's not sugarcoat it. We've just lost a couple of tests in a row, so we have done that, and but we are optimistic about where we're heading.
And just if you look ahead to what's to come in the Wallabies, and obviously Joe pretty well, worked alongside him for a couple of years. What are your sort of expectations of a Joe Schmidt coached Wallabies team?
I think that they'll want to play fast, and he puts a lot of work into the breakdown side of things. I know that, and I think he's he's had a good influence on their side already, and he knows the game, and got a lot of respect for him, and I'm sure that come this test, they'll be right on, and as we will be too.
Just lastly from me, you talked before about it, players, putting their hands up for positions. It seems like Tupavati is one of those who's really come on leaps and bounds this year, and obviously has had to kind of step up with a couple of injuries in the locking department. But how impressed have you been with, I suppose, the growth you've seen the leadership you've seen from Tupou as he kind of establishes himself more and more at Test level?
Yeah, I think he's been exceptional. I think he's probably been one of the informal All Black forwards in his area in this Test season. It's continuation of his great form for the Chiefs, and he's well established in the Test arena now, and he's right up there with the world's best, and it's a real credit to him. He's becoming a man, I guess, and the future is all still in front of him, that's for sure. So it's exciting, and I'm really proud of Toops of how he has taken the ball, by the horns and been exceptional.
Thanks, Chas.
Jace, if I can jump in. Mentally, how do you guys approach this test? Because you've just come up with 2 bruising games against the Springboks and could have gone either way. The Wallabies have been pumped by South Africa and then a record defeat to Argentina. So mentally, the All Blacks, they probably approach this game thinking they should win this game, but how do you guys see it as a Bledisloe fixture coming into it?
Well, there's probably 2 parts to that answer. We've got so much respect for Australia, but this Test match is different. This is the Bledisloe Cup, and it's a trophy that is really dear to the All Blacks' heart, and every Bledisloe Cup Test match is different, and every Bledisloe Cup match you have to earn. You have to earn the right to grab the trophy, so we will prepare accordingly for that.
Does Scott Robertson, 3 defeats out of 4, it's a pretty unusual position for New Zealand, rather common for Australia, but do you have to almost kind of, how's Scott been this week, knowing that there's always that extra bit of pressure on an All Blacks coach, particularly the first time when he hasn't won the Bledisloe as a coach? Yeah, well, the
pressure's a privilege, and it should never be a burden, especially when you're coaching this team, and it doesn't go away any week, no matter what test you got. But I guess to answer your question a little bit more depth, the Bledisloe is it means a lot, and we've talked about it deeply this morning, and we'll layer that during the week, and as it will for Australia, and it'll be a good contest. I've got no doubt about that.
Is there anything about Joe Schmidt's Wallabies that people externally will be underestimating, and how do you guys ensure that doesn't filter through to the playing group?
We're not underestimating them at all. We've got utmost respect for them, and I'm sure it's going to be it could be a classic.
What about from a forwards perspective, the more sort of area that you've had great success with over the years, somewhere that Wallabies have really struggled, is that a focus area? And secondly, Taniela Tupou, his influence when he's not been on the field, they've really struggled right across the field. Is he the person that you have to look out for most?
Yeah, I think he's a great ball carrier, Taniela obviously, and they've obviously got Chrono in there helping their scrum as well. So I think that they'll work on what they need to in the areas. But as I said, it's sort of at the start, and we've looked really hard at ourselves. We've had to in the last couple of weeks, especially in this off week. So we just got to put some things in place to be successful on Saturday night.
And just from a personal perspective, the Bledisloe, like you've tasted it, you've drunk from the cup. Is it a feeling that ever gets old? Like 22 years you guys have had it, are you ever going to give it the Aussies a chance?
Yeah, I think the 22 years you've got to be careful there, because it's all about the test that's in front of us. We know the history's there and the legacy, and that's special for what it is. But each test is different, and this one will be as well. So we prepare accordingly. No worries.
Chase, Mark, I'll just jump in with one or two quick ones to let you go on. You talked about your forwards largely meeting the challenge in South Africa, obviously as tough as it gets in the game. What do you want to see next from them, Jace? What's the next step for your forward pack going into these back-to-back Bledisloes?
Well, the next step's got to be one that's forward, and I think that against the Australian pack, it'll need to be, I think, around Our scrum, I believe we can get a little bit more out of that, and I also believe we can get better quality ball at our line out for the backs. So that's an area that will be a focus, and probably the breakdown. I'm naming everything here, aren't I, Mark? But the carry and clean, they've got good jacklers across the ground. So it's going to be a good contest.
And just with Cody up next, I mean, he's coming off a pretty special test in Cape Town. I think he ran for a team high 70-odd metres, ball in hand. Can you just speak to, I guess, his influence as he comes of age as a test match hooker?
Yeah, he is coming of age. You're exactly right, and I think that he's in exceptional form. It is pretty special how he prepares and gets his body right, and how he helps the younger hookers that are there as well. And he's been clearly number one and thriving. He's been just played 2 massive tests against the Box, big minutes, and has recovered well. And he's given the players around him a lot of confidence as well.
Just a question on the last test. We saw quite a sparing use of the forwards on the bench. I think Sam Darry didn't get on at all. Fletcher Newell only played the last sort of couple of minutes. And Asafo Aumua only came on to replace Cody for his HIA. Was that sort of part of the plan, or what was the thinking behind all that?
Yep, so Cody Taylor was on fire, so why bring him off? Tupou Vai was also on fire, and Fletcher Newell tweaked his calf in the warm-up and stirred it up at half-time, so there's your 3 answers for that. But I think that, look, how you use your bench, you've got to be careful around what's pre-planned and what's actually relative of what's happening in front of you. And I think that's a balance. And as coaches, we've talked around how we can have the best impact from our bench. I think I said after the first test, we've got some younger men that are learning their trade in the test arena. So how we bring them on into what the game's actually doing is important for their confidence as well.
Just, you may have mentioned it before, but the dynamic of facing Joe Schmidt, does that make it a little bit more special?
Probably more so with Chrono, I guess. Like he's been a mentor for a while. So, both of them, it's New Zealand coaches, isn't it? So, enjoyed working with Joe, and obviously Chrono's been a mentor, and probably didn't think he'd be coaching Australia, to be fair, but one thing I really respected about Chrono is, he rung and told me. He gave me the heads up before it was public, and I really respect him about that. And the All Blacks been a massive part of his life, and I guess it's the coaching world, isn't it? I guess that we're in a game where you just don't know what's next. So, got utmost respect for both of them.